Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make another YouTuber statue. This time, I'll be showing you how to make Crainer Commentates. Oh, and by the way, just in case you have any more YouTuber related needs, feel free to check out the card system and the link below down in the description for my YouTuber statue tutorials playlist. There is a lot of them in there, guys. Trust me, you'll probably find loads that you haven't made and you'd want to. Moving on, if you want to make Crainer, here's what you're going to need. You'll need some black stained clay and some white stained clay. Also, grab some black wool, grab yourself some dark blue, some cyan, some white wool, also grab yourself some lime green, yellow, and also grab some red wool. And we will actually need a couple more colours later on, but unfortunately we can't carry any more. So once you have each one of those materials right there, and once you've figured out where you want to make them, I'll be making them right here, you're going to want to kick off Crainer with a row of 8 black stained clay in a row on the floor. That's 8 black stained clay. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just like that. And that is the first row of the front of your statue. So once you have that row of 8 black stained clay, you then want to stack another row of 8 black stained clay directly on top of it. So just add one additional row. Then on top of those 2 rows, add 10 rows of dark blue. That's right, that's 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we just have to fill those in. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And once you do those 10 rows of dark blue, this is what you want to do next. This is where things get a little bit more interesting. So for the next row, going from left to right, do 1 cyan, 1 black wool, 2 cyan, 3 black wool, 1 cyan. For the next row, do 1 cyan, 2 lime green, 1 cyan, 3 black wool, 1 cyan. For the next row, do 1 white wool, 3 lime green, then 4 cyan. For the next row, do 2 white wool, 3 lime green, 3 cyan. For the next row, do 1 white, 5 lime green, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 2 cyan. Then for the next row, do 2 cyan, then 3 lime green, then 3 cyan. Then for the next row, do 1 cyan, 1 red wool, 2 lime green, 4 cyan. For the next row, do 1 red wool, 1 yellow, 1 lime green, 2 white wool, 2 red, 1 white wool. For the next row, do 1 red wool, 1 yellow, 1 lime green, 5 white wool, which is just the rest of the row. Then for the next row, do 1 red wool, 2 yellow, 1 cyan, 1 white, 1 black, 1 cyan, 1 black. For the next row, do 1 cyan, 2 red, then 2 white stained clay, then 3 cyan. For the final row of Crainer's torso, do 2 cyan, 4 white stained clay, then 2 cyan. And what you'll want to end up with, guys, so far should look exactly like this. And that is Crainer's torso and legs 100% fully complete, or at least the front of them anyway. Once you've reached this point right here, guys, it's now time for us to do the arms. So come all the way up to the top right hand corner of your torso. Going right of this top right hand cyan block here, you want to do a row of 4 cyan going right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then underneath this row of 4 cyan, you now want to add 4 additional rows of cyan. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we just have to fill those in. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, like that. What you then want to do is you then want to take out your white stained clay and you want to do 7 rows of white stained clay coming down, guys. So 7 rows of white stained clay coming down. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's 1, 2, 3, and that will give you Crainer's first arm, guys. Very, very simple design. Once you've got that first arm taken care of, all we have to do now is the exact same thing on the opposite side now. So come all the way up to the top left-hand corner of Crainer's torso, take out your cyan stained clay, and go left of this corner block by 4 with your cyan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do 4 additional rows underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, just got to fill them in, of course. Then you want to do your 7 rows of white stained clay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we've just got to fill those in now, guys. So let's just add in those layers of white stained clay. And what you'll want to end up with is something that should look exactly like this. Perfect, guys. That is what you want for the entire front of your Crainer statue. Once you have that taken care of, we can then move on to the rest of it. So what we're now going to do is we're going to come all the way around to the back of the statue, and we're going to come all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. Take the 2 bottom corners of the statue and extend them, each coming out of the back of the statue, each by 3 with your black stained clay. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Then connect each one of those third blocks together, back block to back block, like this. What we're now going to do is build up the entire back of the Crainer statue on top of these 8 back blocks that we have right here, exactly how we just built up the front, and then we'll focus on the sides, then the head, then we'll be done. So for the second row, guys, of the back of the statue, just add an additional row of black stained clay, like that. Then for the next 10 rows, you want to do 10 rows of dark blue wool again. Does this sound familiar? So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 10 rows of dark blue wool. What you then want to do, and this is what makes the back so easy, is you now want to do 12 rows of cyan wool. Now you can count these out, or you could just do a row of cyan that is as tall as the front of the statue, so kind of just measure it using the front of the statue, and then you can just add all of the additional rows in. But you want to do 12 rows of cyan wool, but equally so, you can just use the front of the statue to measure it. All that's really important is that you end up with something that should look exactly like this, guy. So that's what the back of the statue wants to look like, minus the backs of the arms, of course. But once you've reached this point right here, so you've done your 2 rows of black stained clay, 10 rows of dark blue, 12 rows of cyan, all we have to do now are the backs of the arms. So the backs of the arms are identical to the fronts of the arms, and they don't even really need explaining whatsoever. All you have to do to complete the backs of the arms is look directly forward at what you did for the fronts of the arms, and then just copy it directly onto the back, guys. That's all you have to do. You don't really need any instructions for this or anything whatsoever. All you have to do is look directly at the front of your statue, copy it onto the back, and you'll be fine. So that's the first one done. Let's do the exact same thing with the opposite arm here. So, I mean, lest you forget, if you guys really want the instructions, it's 5 rows of cyan at the top, and then it's just 7 rows of white stained clay. But really, the best way to do it is look directly forward, copy what you did there directly onto the back here, and that is all you want to do, guys. So you want to end up with something that should look exactly like this. I know, guys, it's a little bit plain, but that is Crainer's skin. What can I say? So that's the back of the statue. Once you've got that taken care of, guys, it's now time for us to move on to the sides of the statue. So once you've got that taken care of, move all the way onto this side of your statue, come all the way down to the bottom of the feet, and this is what you want to do. All we have to do to fill in the side of the statue is we just have to match the color that we have on the left and right hand side of us, and we just have to throw whatever color that may be into the 2 empty center blocks of the statue. So that's all you have to do, guys. So to fill in the legs, for instance, where you have black stained clay, place black stained clay. Where you have dark blue wool, place dark blue wool. And the same thing applies when you get up to the bottoms of the arms. Where you have white stained clay, place white stained clay, and where you eventually have cyan wool, use cyan wool. But also do remember to fill in the bottom of the arms as well, which of course you want to use white stained clay for. So coming all the way up to the side of the arm, since we already took care care of that. We just want to place cyan here at the top, as it is on the left and right hand side, and we also want to fill the top of the shoulder in with cyan as well. And by the way, for the top of the shoulder, all you have to do is come in by 3 with your cyan. You can come in by more if you really want to, but it's somewhat unnecessary, as the head, which is going to be right here, is going to cut everything in the center off anyway. But just to show you guys, this is what the side of your statue wants to look like. As you can see, very, very simple design. Once you've got one side taken care of, you then want to do the exact same thing on the opposite side here. So coming to the opposite side, we're now doing literally the exact same thing. So if you wanted to copy the opposite side, you could, just as we did with the sides of the arms, but it's going to be so much easier to just copy whatever color you have on the left and right hand side of you. It's that easy, guys. It's very, very simple. It's there's no thinking required, you might say. So we're now just filling in the top part of the arm. We're now filling in the shoulder, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Like I said, you can fill in the entire top with cyan if you really want to, but it's somewhat redundant, as that middle bit will get covered up anyway. But this is the second side of the statue, 100% fully complete, guys. And once you have got that second side taken care of, the last thing that we have to do, guys, is the head. So let's move all the way to the front of the statue, and let's come all the way up to the top of the torso. Take out your white stained clay, and on top of the 8 middle blocks of the torso, stack yourself a row of 8 white stained clay. So on top of the 8 middle blocks of the torso, stack a row of 8 white stained clay. Then in front of that first row of 8 white stained clay, do 2 additional rows of white stained clay. So that would be 1 and 2 directly in front of that row. Now, once you've done that, we're actually going to have to grab a couple more colors, guys. So what colors do we need? We can now relinquish black stained clay. We can also get rid of black wool, and we can get rid of dark blue. And the colors that we're going to want to grab are, we're going to want some pink stained clay. We're also going to want some dark green wool. And we're also going to want some dark grey wool. So get rid of those 3, grab those 3. Once you've done that, we can start building up the face. So we're now going to start building up the face on top of this outer row of white stained clay. And to do that, going from left to right for the next row, you want to do a row of 3 white stained clay. So that's 1, 2, 3, followed by 2 pink clay, then 3 white stained clay. Then for the next 2 rows, do 2 solid rows of white stained clay. So that's 1 and 2 directly on top of each other. Then for the next row, going from left to right, do 1 white stained clay, 1 white wool, 1 dark green, 2 white clay, 1 dark green, 1 white wool, 1 white clay. For the next row, going from left to right, just do 1 yellow wool, then 6 white stained clay, then 1 yellow wool. Essentially, it's just 1 yellow on each end, white stained clay everywhere else in between. Then for the final 2 rows of the head, just do 2 solid rows of yellow wool. So that'll be 1 and 2 stacked directly on top of each other, just like that. And that is what you want to have for Crainer's face, guys. Once you have that taken care of, we can then move on to the rest of the head. So as always, pause this if necessary. Once you've got that taken care of, let's move on to the rest of the head. So, what you now want to do is come all the way around to the back of the head, take out your white stained clay, and starting from this first initial row of 8 white stained clay that we have right here, you want to take this row and extend it over the back of the statue until it overhangs the back of the statue by 2 rows. So that'll be 1 and that will be 2. So until it overhangs the back of the statue by 2 rows, like that. Very much how the front of the head overhangs the front of the statue by 2 rows, you want the same thing on the back. Now, once you've got that taken care of, this is what you want to do next, guys. So, what you then want to do is you want to do a row of white stained clay that goes all the way around the base of the head. So it kind of wants to form like a U shape, like this. It kind of wants to look a little bit like that, guys. So you just want to add a layer of white stained clay that goes all the way around the base of the head. What you then want to do is you want to be on the left hand side of the head here, and with your white stained clay, starting from the right hand side, you want to do a row of 5 white stained clay starting from the right. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. You then, for the next row, just want to do a single white stained clay on the right here. Then you want to do the same thing just above it. So you want to have this pattern with your white stained clay. Now, not only do you want to have this on this side of the statue, this kind of like sideways L shape, I actually turn my head, you also want to have the exact same thing on this opposite side. So to do that, all you have to obviously do is look directly forward at what you did on that side and then just copy it onto this. But lest you forget, 5 white stained clay coming from the front of the head to the back, then just 2 single white stained clay on the front part of the head. What you then want to do, once you've done that on both sides and you have the layer of white stained clay everywhere, you then want to just take out your yellow wool, and you want to take the 2 back corners of the head, raise them up with your yellow wool, connect them to the front of the head, and also connect them together. And what you'll do in doing that is you will create a nice big empty cube shape that should look exactly like this. And once you've done that, all you have to do to complete the cube is you just have to fill the entirety of it in with your yellow wool, just as I'm doing now. And once you've filled this thing in with yellow wool, you will have actually just about, and I do say just about, completed Crainer's head. Now, there is an extra that you can add to it if you want. I've seen the skin with and without it, so that's why I'm saying it's an optional extra. But what you might also want to add is Crainer's headset. Apparently he always wears some sort of white headset, or at least I've seen some skins with it on, and I've seen it in the thumbnails of his videos where his character's wearing the headset. So we're going to add that to him, and you guys may or may not want to add it. So you might want to keep the head as it is now, and that's just the base head, just filled in with yellow and white stained clay. But if you want to, once you've reached this point right here, you may want to take out your white wool, and you may want to do this. So you might just want to form this shape on the side of Crainer's head. And you know what? This is so easy that I'm not even going to describe this. So you may want to do this, which is like one of the ear cups off of the headset, and you guys will be able to see how that's built. Right in the center of the head, starting from the top, you come down by 2, those 2 center blocks with your white wool down. Then the left one, you go down by 2 with your dark grey wool. The right one, you come down by 2 with your white wool, and then you kind of just do like white wool all around the edges, just 2 white wool on the right, left, and bottom. Now, not only do you do that on this side, but you also do the exact same thing on the other side. So coming to the other side, 2 by 2 white wool at the top center. Then on the back here, we do 2 dark grey coming down, 2 white wool coming down, 2 white wool underneath, left, right. Boom. Very easy. That's the headset. Except, of course, we've got to do the bit where it sits on top of the head. So to do this, you can either make it square, like this. You can kind of just have like a nice square headset, which you might want to do. Or you might want to knock the corners off of it and make it look a little less angular. So you might want to do that, and that is Crainer's headset. And I didn't notice any sort of microphone on the headset, but if you were so inclined, it would probably look a little bit like this, guys. If you wanted to, you might want to add this onto the left-hand side of Crainer's head, and that is actually the microphone that I've literally just made up. I think it actually looks something like that, but I actually prefer it without it. But again, it's kind of up to you. You might want the headset, you might not want the headset, you might want to add microphone, but it's just, as you can see in those positions, 3 white wool, and then on the front here, we just have the dark grey wool, which we can either put there or there. It's kind of up to you. I kind of like it out of the face like that. But there you go, guys. That is your Crainer statue 100% fully completed, whichever part you decide to make, whichever additions or subtractions you want to make as well. But there you go, guys. That is the Crainer statue 100% fully completed. That is the last of it. Now, if you guys like this and you managed to make it, and I really do hope that you guys like it and you managed to make it, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could give this video a like, a favorite, a share, anything you'd feel like doing to help me out, guys. I always vastly appreciate. You guys know that I do. I made Crainer because you guys have been heavily suggesting that I make him, so here he is, guys. I hope you're happy with him. He's got a pretty simple skin, to tell you guys the truth, but I do like his shirt, if nothing else. He's kind of like Steve, but with blonde hair, no goatee, and he has a headset. I guess he's nothing like Steve, really, but he's kind of got very similar clothing. So if you guys like it, like, favorite, share, if you would, please feel free to comment down below. What YouTuber would you like to see me make next? I don't make my favorite YouTubers, guys. I make them purely from your guys' suggestions. What else, guys? What else am I trying to convey to you? Feel free to check out the card system and the link below down in the description for my YouTuber statue tutorials playlist. I think that there's well over 80 YouTubers in there, so you guys you might have a field day in there if making YouTubers is your deal. And I suppose that is it, guys. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.